Writing more code won't actually make you a better developer. Trust me. In my career, I always thought writing more code would actually give me a promotion, that I'll actually learn more than what I used to know, and that I could actually build something with value. But honestly, that's not the case anymore. It never was the case. And then once I understood that big principle there, I had to really reshape how I went about being a developer. It's not about the code. It's not about working through tasks just because you're assigned to it. It's about making an impact. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 habits that are holding you back right now from becoming a senior developer, and what's keeping you small at the moment, and why you're not making any adjustments, and why you feel small. So number 1, skill is not enough anymore. Your coding ability doesn't matter. If you wanted to write clean code to fix a problem, you might introduce more bugs just by you doing that. When it comes to writing code, yes, it's important to figure out what needs to be done so that you could efficiently solve the problem, but we have AI tools now that could do it in seconds. So a lot of developers are leaning into AI tools to help them with building out a solution, reviewing that code, making sure that it's feasible, that it works correctly, and making adjustments on the fly. It's not about writing code anymore. It's about prompting skills. How do you plan a project? How do you have AI work on these small little tasks to help you build something, as opposed to just trying to do everything on your own? AI has been great in these settings if you have guardrails around it, but developers that are out there right now that are just writing code just to write it and spending so much time perfecting it is going to be at a loss, and they're never going to get promoted. All right. So you need to think about how you're able to build things, how you are able to create value within the code that you're writing. All right. Whether you're using AI to help you prompt that, or if you're setting up the boilerplate yourself, this is something that you need to get used to. And also having good communication is very important. So if you're working through just all these tasks that you have on your board and you're just like, you know what, it's done. You're thinking that you're making progress, but honestly, you're just having small wins. You're not making really that much of an impact. Anybody can fix a small bug, but the value comes in when you look at the problem holistically. And once you figure that out and you're able to build around that, that's where you're going to notice that growth mindset come in. Number 2 is you just complete tasks just because, right? Someone gives you a task to work on and you just complete it. And then you think that's part of the game. And the more tasks that you complete, the more recognition that you're going to get from that. That is not the case. You have to understand the impacts of your code changes. You have to understand the trade-offs of making changes and refactoring things. If you're not able to do that, you're going to be small. You're going to be stuck where you are, and you're not going to really make any progress in your career by you just doing the small things. This is about looking into the bigger picture of what needs to be done, understanding the trade-offs of making this impact, understanding the value to the users if you were to refactor things. And sometimes if there's spaghetti code and you try to refactor it, it might be good, but you have to understand there might be downstream impacts of that. So if you just fix code and don't do any testing, don't do any edge case thinking, don't do any what's in scope, what's out of scope mindset thinking, you are going to cause more problems. So thinking big picture as opposed to being in the small picture, just working on small tasks, will ultimately help you progress a lot further. Number 3, you wait for instructions instead of taking ownership. You wait for someone to tell you, hey, work on this, as opposed to you just saying, hey, we have a problem here, let me take the lead on this. Or waiting for them to do their part first so that you can then start. That is not the way to do things. You need to take ownership every single time. If there's a problem, own it. If there's an issue, bring it up to the team. This is very important. This is something that I had to learn when it came to communication, where leading projects, is that you get all the requirements and everything looks great, but then at the end of the day, you're thinking about all these different edge cases, like how users will be using your app. Once you understand the application in the system, this becomes easy. And then you're going to start asking more questions. How do we implement this? Is this really needed? I see we have this requirement. Do we need other people involved with this? so that we don't have any downstream effects. This is the kind of thinking that you should have. These are the questions that you need to be asking other people to make sure that your project stays on track. Number 4, you're over-indexing on tools that are out there in the market right now. You're not sticking to one thing and learning it and being able to gain as much value as possible from that one tool. You are spending so much time on YouTube, Google Forms, or not even Google Forms, what am I talking about? On Google, searching things and trying to figure out which AI tool is the best. There are so many AI tools out there now that it's kind of hard to pick which one would actually help you with the problem that you're trying to solve and how to help with productivity. The big ones for me is Claude Code. I've been using that for a while and it's worked wonders for me for my productivity, getting things done, writing code. It's amazing. I used to use GitHub Copilot. I like the autocomplete feature for GitHub Copilot. Also the embedded chat window where you could just hone in on a file and you could ask it to do certain things like explain exactly what's going on with this file, or how do I solve this bug, or how do I build out this feature? And it does it for you. A lot of people use Cursor too, which is in the IDE as well. There's so many different tools out there that you could use, especially with AI, to help you with productivity. There's Gemini, there's a bunch of tools out there, ChatGPT, but if you're only chasing this technology stacks, you're not really going to get anywhere. You're going to be stuck in square one all the time because you're moving from tool to tool. You want to stick with at least one tool at a time, give it some time to evaluate it, try it out for yourself. If it doesn't give you the value that you need, move on to another tool. But moving from tool to tool is not the way to go. You're going to be stuck. And the biggest thing I could tell you is learning the fundamentals and the patterns of a system and how to build around that is going to help you way more than relying on a tool. And then number 5, the last habit that you should stop doing, you're scared of making the wrong decision. Now, I've been in the game for 12 years, all right? I've made a lot of bad decisions, especially when it came to writing code, figuring out problems. Like it caused performance issues, like all the things that could happen. I had websites just stop working because of a memory issue with storing data on the database, and I had to figure all that stuff out. I had issues with an application in a constant loop. And this is the big thing that I learned about when I was using React. But this is a big thing that I learned about use effect is that if you don't have a dependency array, you could have an infinite loop on your hands. So I learned that. Also, there's a story about me doing a hackathon and how I failed at that. I'll put an annotation here in the video so you can take a look at that. But that was an eye opener for me. Once I understood that failing is mostly just to help me with learning and growing, I got better. Started taking ownership, buying a course online just to learn React.js. Got better with that. Then as I got better with writing code, I was like, well, what do I need to learn? Instead of having an ego of I know everything, I relied on people that were smarter than me to give me game. And I've learned from that, and I've actually was able to give back game based on what I knew too. So it was always a give and take when it comes to being a software engineer, especially as a junior dev. You have to be curious about every little thing. So it's okay to fail as much as possible. As long as you are learning from those failures, applying those lessons to other projects that you're working on, you will do fine. But these 5 habits are what's holding you back right now. And this is something that you need to take control of, because if it gets out of hand, you're going to stay the same. You're going to stay small. You're never going to progress, and you're going to think that you're not enough. But I'm here to tell you guys, you are enough. You just have to put in the work. You have to change these habits. All right. So that's it, guys. That's the video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know how it is for you as a junior dev, and whether you are dealing with these habits right now. And if you need help with anything, there's a link in the description for one-on-one coaching, man. Hit your boy up. If you want to ask me how to prep for interviews, if you need help with looking at your projects, your portfolio, your resume, hit your boy up. We do a 15-minute consultation, see if we could work together, and then we could go from there. All right? We'll talk soon, guys.